Let's get ready to crumble! Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and yes, this is Air Arcade. Welcome to Jinkerinos in some Japanese fightery doodlies, and also welcome to the annoying fact that Windows has had 2 updates in 2 days. And when Windows is waiting to be updated, it just decides to lag out your PC every 15 seconds for a few hours until you restart and update. And I do apologize, but that was the case while I was recording this. And one of the things you may have noticed about me, myself, and the channel I run here at Toshio Thunder is I never have enough time for anything. It's just a fact of life. I spent the first 4 hours this morning just spending time with my girls and loving them and having them crawl all over me. I had Brooklyn behind me with a soggy toothbrush that had been soaked in a solution of ordinary drinking water and blue Play-Doh to form her paint. And she said that she was going to make me look like Captain America. She was going to make me look so pretty, like a princess. And it was sounding a little bit too much like I was casting for some odd role. So I didn't really trust her, to say the least. So she's jabbing at me with this paintbrush that she's improvised. And baby Zoe, in the meantime, was demonstrating her ability to toss every object that comes within the reach of her teeny little hands. And that was pretty much how the first 4 hours of my morning went today. So if you're wondering, like, where does the time go that I used to spend on, like, recording more than one take of audio? Where does the time go that I would have spent re-recording 20 or so minutes of Air Arcade Battle to where it doesn't rubber band or glitch out every 30 seconds, for which I do apologize. I'll tell you where the time goes, my friend. It goes to them, and I'm not even sorry. So welcome back once again to Minimum Effort Broadcasting here on the Toshio Thunder channel, my social network that I keep alive in reaching out to you all by putting forth the absolute minimum effort and the absolute maximum content possible. And this was something that I'm really delighted to feature today. This is, again, Jinkerinos in Japanese fighters in Air Arcade battles. One of the things that I noticed right away, this is not to put it too bluntly, this is dead simple gameplay, right? You aim for the lead indicator, you open up, you spray until something dies, you pick another target, and choosing Japanese turn fighters works very well for the meta of getting lots and lots of kills, playing very aggressively in Air Arcade, and it can be a ton of fun. Now, in case you were wondering, you can do this well, if not better, in American fighters as well. It's just a slightly different playstyle. A lot of spray and pray, as you see here, and yet with the high velocity of American 50 cals, you actually get more consistent hits on enemies who are often maneuvering rather wildly, the way you see in Arcade. And then when it comes to defensive flying, well, you just don't. But you might have noticed most of Jinkerinos' time spent shooting at people and just gluing himself to an enemy's tail. Something you can avoid a bit more, again, with the improved firepower that you can find with a lot of the American aircraft. I remember grinding out grinding out air events in arcade mode, and it works rather well if you play very aggressively and just kill everything you see. Jinkerinos doing just that. Of course, he gets shot down, but he has a Key 61, beautiful aircraft, by the way, armed with, I think this one has Ho 12-7 heavy machine guns, if I'm not mistaken. I think there might be a Key 61, and I could be wrong here. I don't think that they have cannons mounted in their aircraft, so these would be heavy machine guns, and they do sound like the whatever they are, heavy machine gun. Look at the beauty of this aircraft as it maneuvers. Just a gorgeous fighter all around. It really looks like a mix between a Mustang and a BF-109 with a distinctly Japanese flavor, of course. And of course it's not any one of those aircraft. Jinkerinos, did you have your flaps out for a second there, or do my eyes deceive me? And as always, a wing tank fire is instant death for a Japanese airplane, and we're skipping ahead a little bit here just to keep you all in the action. These arcade battles, very action-packed, and there's, you know, I don't want to talk down about it, because I feel like people talk down about arcade more than enough. But this is, as you can see, a very simple playstyle that Jinkerinos is using here, but he's consistently aggressive, and he's using the right aircraft for the job, and he's just overwhelming the enemies with superior amounts of aggression. And this is a great trainer mode to get people into flying aircraft in War Thunder. It has that fast-paced run-and-gun action that you see in a lot of first-person shooters. You start to get a feel for your aircraft, and honestly, Jinkerinos, a personal message to you. Consider flying some air RB and really getting into that. One of the things as a long-time RB pilot that I've gotten out of that experience is that when I come back into arcade, I have a lot better feel for what my aircraft can do, and also for aiming at longer ranges than the aim indicator shows up. In fact, that's how I get a lot of my kills in the P-47 in arcade, is I'll start spraying at like 1.5 kilometers. I set my convergence to no, and I just spray and pray, but I know where those bullets are gonna go. And then if you can set a fire, like you see, Japanese fighters, Soviet fighters, all the Spitfires, a vast majority of the very competitive aircraft that you'll face in Air RB, they cannot survive a fire all that well. And this time, Jinkerinos losing a tail, and then in the respawn in yet another A6M5 Co, or A6M, yeah, whatever. He got a kill. He got killed. I cut out a lot of that one. That's really the gist of what was going on. And more turning and spraying toward the enemy. Now, which aircraft is this? It kind of looks like a Key 87, but not quite. I'm not sure which one this one is. And that goes to show I just haven't been playing my Japanese fighters lately. I absolutely love the premiums. The Japanese have some really interesting event and just regular premium aircraft available for Golden Eagles, especially the A6M5 Co and the A7M2. Those are just incredibly fun and powerful aircraft in RB or arcade mode. So what was I saying? Jinkerinos, again, with a consistent but fairly straightforward playstyle here. Get onto someone's tail. Easy to do in a Japanese fighter. And then shoot at the dot until they die. And yet, getting a lot of success here again because of his persistence, because of his well fleshed out lineup, and his consistent aggression. So, my advice to Jinkerinos, send me more replays. I like seeing arcade, and I know you've been having some good matches lately. Curious to see where those go. And it's great to see you on the Thunder Zone Discord. Again, this is a social thing that I do. This is my social life. So I really love to see some fresh blood on a fairly regular basis. And a lot of people, a lot of you guys coming from Reddit, which I almost gave up on the War Thunder Reddit. There were some just very hostile, standoffish people there that weren't really contributing anything. They were just contributing their negativity, their negative opinions, their disapproval for my very honest and straightforward way of reaching out to people, which, if you can't reach out to people on the internet, where even can you? So, you know, basically, to you negative Nancy's, go fuck yourself, because no one else will. But to all the rest of you, I'm glad that I stuck around, because I only did put up with the BS that I was encountering, and I still do. My videos get downvoted by some people that have just decided that they're just going to downvote my videos whenever I post them on the Reddit. And like I said, they can go fuck themselves, because no one else will. Everybody has asshole moments in their life. You just don't want to embrace those things. Don't do it. But I'm glad I stuck around, because I keep on meeting interesting new people that I get to reach out to, because I didn't back off from that social area. I also think that the just another thing that grinds my gears about the War Thunder Reddit, and I'm not much of a complainer, as you guys can normally tell, but let's just finish off my gripes with the War Thunder Reddit and leave it at that, is that they have this odd policy. I swear the mods are German, because only Germans can come up with such stupid esoteric rules. But the rules are the rules, yeah, and we must follow the rules. What's up with the meme day policy? Like, there's 2 days a week where you can share meme content. Have you noticed the internet is 90% porn and 85% memes? That's right, there's some overlap there. So, you're blocking, you're disincentivizing, you're cordoning off the vast majority of creative content that people are looking to share on your site. And I've looked at the War Thunder Reddit. I've been involved for a long time. The memes are not poisoning the War Thunder Reddit. I love the memes. I love memes. It's great stuff. I'm about to pre. But what do you have when you don't have the memes? You have shitty potato webcam videos that I highly encourage. Everybody needs to start somewhere. You have people bitching about bugs with the game, which isn't going to get anywhere because it's the War Thunder Reddit, not the forums. But okay, that's fine. It's not creative content. It's not uplifting for the community, but you know, it's communication. But it's all that stuff. Along with, there's some cool tank porn stuff, you know, just really cool vehicles. There's Gaijin, please. There's some cool stuff, right? There is some stuff on the Reddit. But are memes that terrible that they need to be singled out as restricted content, locked away to 2 days a week? Seems like bullshit to me. But who am I? Just a guy who thinks that photo plus text does not equal meme. You Nazis. But anyway, did I go on a bit of a rant there? I might have gone on a little bit of a rant, but that's just open, honest communication. And Jinkerino is now wrapping up the match with 21 kills, something that's almost impossible to achieve in RB. In fact, in Air RB, I dare say that is an impossible number. In Arcade, well, it's a little bit more commonplace, but by no means unexceptional. And appreciate you sending in the replay. That was a lot of fun. I love featuring stuff that I don't normally feature on the channel, and if I sounded a little bit, you know, off topic, welcome! You'll see more of that. But also, I play pretty much no Air Arcade anymore now, and it's not because I don't like the game mode. I really do. I think that it's very consistent, but even more than with RB, there's really only the fighter meta. Everything else is kind of useless. From from my experience. There are probably people that can make things like the B-25 work. In fact, I know Tiger Frost can. I've seen him doing very well in Air Arcade with the B-25 bomber, but using bombers and attackers and even support aircraft in some senses, heavy aircraft, just doesn't work out so well for me in arcade. And yet, if you're looking for one thing, and that thing is high octane action, Air Arcade's fantastic. It's too hard for me though. It's hard on my heart. Tank Arcade though, welcome to DTO, who has sent in a few replays in the past. I think he goes by the moniker Trollic Slayer on the Discord, and he's sent me a few replays. In fact, you've already seen some of his. In fact, a few of those have been T14 replays. So here we have the T14 in arcade, and this is an environment where the T14 can do fantastically well, as demonstrated by this insanely quick 5 kills DTO has harvested from the enemy team. So what makes the T14 extra effective in arcade? It has, like other Shermans, or I should say like the Shermans, fantastic gun handling, which carries over to arcade well as well, with that good turret rotation rate, the low speed stabilizer. Everything has a stabilizer in arcade, but it's just a little bit better on the T14. Angled armor that requires enemies to aim for weak spots, which buys you just a little bit of time to use that good gun handling and the nuke round you have with that American 75 to your best advantage, with the over-the-shoulder playstyle available in arcade, where you have a hit indicator and you just line it up and let it fly, as you see there. The T14 performs well in a fast-paced, action-based environment. You can see DTO, a little bit of a role player here, not to get too personal, but he's using the view from the gunner's sight in a nod to I guess immersion, historical relevance, along the lines that Puma Tato does as well. Another person you've seen plenty of replays from in the past, and again, I really appreciate what Puma does in the social aspect of the server. I've seen him getting people together to play in matches, and he's even run a couple of World War mode operations, and I love that. I love to see you guys connecting and doing things together when I'm not around or when I'm busy, which is usually the case. So, where do we go from here? I guess we could talk about what DTO is actually doing, and that is just straight up blapping the enemy team. I have great memories of the T14 in arcade mode, and it's nice to see that it's still a beast from, well, the west and a little bit more east. This is, of course, a cooperation project between the Brits and the Americans that never really got off the ground. In any event, the T14, to remind you all, a rank 2 at battle rating 4.3 in RB, one of the highest ranked battle rating 2, or sorry, one of the highest battle rating rank 2 vehicles in the game. Premium, a lot of fun, very rewarding, faces some very tough competition. So if you don't do well in it for a while, just understand, you know what's going on. You got that German Log 75, you've got KV-1s and T-34s, some very competitive vehicles, along with, of course, the Shermans that everybody gets these days. Very competitive vehicles to face off against. And yet, it can do okay. And you can see here, you get a good handle for it. You use just the right strategies. DTO using aggression, firing on the move, lining up the cannon quickly and shooting over the shoulder the way you can in arcade works out very well for the T14. I talked about the armor that forces enemies to take a moment to aim, especially since a lot of foes are not going to be especially familiar with the T14. It's something of a more rare premium vehicle. God knows why. It must be the low rank, because it really is a good tank. It's not a monster of a heavy tank, but it has the mobility of a medium. It has great gun handling, and it has more armor than Sherman's of the same battle rating. So it does have a number of things going for it. In any event, this has been a rather fast-paced battle that sees a bit of a lull here, and it's a great chance for me to invite all of you to send in your own replays. There is a link to my Discord in the description of this video, and like I always say, that's the best place to get a hold of me, and I really do love meeting new people and seeing the community of Toshio Thunder grow. All the crew just annihilated by that side shot into the Panzer IV. And that's exactly what you expect out of this short American 75. Now setting himself up in a great defensive position, ready to head off anyone heading for the cap zone that's directly behind him, and also supporting the net that's being spread out by his teammates. A ping on the map off to his right, and yet that's not what DTO is focusing on. Is that going to bite him in the rear? He's taking fire from a Wurble, but there's not a chance that that Wurbly wind is going to punch through his extremely thick side turret armor. A lot of people don't realize the side turret armor on the T-14, God knows why, is actually thicker than the front turret armor. I did mention this project never really got off the ground, didn't I? But it does mean that you can angle your turret and bounce shots fairly well. Whirlwind doesn't stand a chance. Now an M6. That's another story. A worthy opponent, and you can see against the American 75, a very difficult opponent to cheese. The otherwise unreliable armor of M6A1, quite effective against its American counterparts, until you shoot him in the cannon barrel, I suppose. But that's gonna round off this match with a nice number of kills for DTO. It is arcade, but he earned those, didn't he? And that's it for today's arcade roundup, a game mode that I don't as often get to feature on the channel, but no less exciting to commentate on, even if I do tell my own stories most of the time. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed these couple of replays, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.